It all began long before I was even born. My mother has always been strangely sensitive to the unseen, to ghosts, spirits, or whatever they really are. She never went looking for them, but somehow they always found her. She told me once that during her pregnancy with me, she had one of the most terrifying encounters of her life. She was standing in front of her mirror, gently stroking her belly and smiling to herself, when she noticed a dark figure standing behind her. It wasn't her reflection. It wasn't anyone she knew. It was a tall, faceless shadow, human in shape but empty, silent and cold. The moment she turned to look directly at it, the thing vanished. She said that was the first time she realized something had attached itself to her, or maybe to me. As a child, I grew up surrounded by strange things. The air inside our house always felt heavier at night, as if unseen eyes were constantly watching. Sometimes, in the corners of the room or down the hallway, I would see them, those shadow figures. They were never clear, never detailed, just thick, black silhouettes shaped like people. No faces, no features, no color, just darkness, moving where darkness shouldn't move. They would appear in doorways or near the stairs, always standing still, watching. The moment I blinked or tried to move closer, they would vanish like smoke. There was one figure in particular, the Shadow Man. He was different from the rest, taller, more defined. He always stood at a distance, as if studying me, waiting for something. He never came close, never made a sound, just the shape of a man made of pure blackness. I could never see through him. It was like the shadow itself had weight. Every time I saw him, an icy fear spread through my whole body, but curiosity kept me frozen in place. I knew if I moved too suddenly, he might disappear, or worse, come closer. For years, he haunted the background of my life. I learned to live with him, to pretend that he wasn't there. Eventually, I grew up and moved out of my parents' house, hoping that leaving that place behind would mean leaving whatever followed us. For a month or so, everything seemed normal. My apartment was quiet, peaceful. I almost convinced myself that it had all been my imagination, a child's fear lingering into adulthood. But one evening, I went back to my parents' home for dinner. During the meal, my mother looked uneasy. She told me that since I'd left, she had been hearing someone crying inside the house night after night, a low, mournful sound, as if someone was weeping in the next room but never wanted to be found. She thought she'd managed to make it go away, but she was wrong. It hadn't left. It had followed me. A few nights later, I woke up suddenly in the middle of the night. The room was dark, but I could feel something standing close. My chest tightened. Slowly, I opened my eyes, and there he was, the Shadow Man. He was leaning over me, his face, or whatever passed for one, just inches from mine. I could feel the cold radiating from him, like standing in front of an open grave. My entire body froze. I couldn't breathe. And then, just as suddenly as he appeared, he dissolved into nothingness, leaving me shaking and drenched in sweat. After that, things started to change. The Shadow Man still showed up from time to time, but other shapes began to appear too. One was small and fast. I called it the Cat. It was about the same size as a house cat, pitch black, darting across rooms in a blur. I wasn't the only one who saw it either. A few friends who visited my apartment caught glimpses of it, a quick, dark shape moving along the floor. They were skeptics, people who didn't believe in ghosts or spirits, but seeing that thing turned their disbelief into silent fear. For me, it was almost a relief to know that I wasn't imagining it all. Then came the cloud. That one was stranger than anything else. It didn't have a body or limbs. It was a floating mass of dense, dark fog, thick and heavy but never spreading out. It moved slowly, almost lazily, like it was drifting underwater. Sometimes it would float across a room, blocking the light, then fade into thin air.
The atmosphere around it always felt suffocating, like the air itself didn't want to be breathed. Over the years, I've seen other spirits, the ghosts of people I knew who had passed away. Those encounters were different. They had faces, familiar energy, something human in them. But the Shadow Man was nothing like that. He felt ancient, cold, hungry. Whatever he once was, if he was ever human at all, that humanity was long gone. I could never shake the feeling that he wasn't just watching me. He was waiting for something. Sometimes I wonder if he's tied to me somehow, bound since before I was even born, since that day my mother saw him in the mirror. Maybe he isn't a ghost at all. Maybe he's something older, something that found its way into my life before I even took my first breath. I still don't know what he wants or why he chooses to show himself. All I know is that whenever I feel that familiar chill in the air, I know he's near, silent, formless, but always watching. And no matter how many years pass, no matter where I move or how hard I try to forget, he always finds me again.